your team are as good as the leader.
Yeah.
Every single virtual assistant we've
had situations,
in every single section of our business has told us that somebody has ended up in the hospital and we must pay for their hospital bills like straight away.
It's called like basically dropping the ego, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dropping the ego and allowing them to kind of just, allowing them to shine in the area that they're actually better than you at.
Yeah.
Whenever I ask how to do a job, or someone asks how to do a job, it's always go to.
Oh, you got Sean excited.
No.
Welcome to the Property Project podcast, where we talk all things property, but also help you to resolve some of the dilemmas that you come up with.
But before you do that, we'd love if you could help us by liking the video, subscribing to our channel so you could get more content from us. VAs, they are going to make or break your business, right? I feel like I've had a turbulent time with VAs because sometimes I feel like it's a mixture. Like sometimes you're looking after them like they're your children. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're the ones telling you how to do things because they've learned so much. So I'll go in between because sometimes it's like managing them. It's just like you never know what you're going to get from them each day. Do you know what I mean? There was one funny story that we had with one of our VAs. We'll get into it, but they come with a lot of things. I think like one of the funny stories was when one of the guests was actually trying to flirt with our VA. Do you remember?
When he was trying to ask her where she was staying. Invite her to... I think he was staying at one of the properties. Mm-hmm. And he asked her, like, I noticed that the number's not a UK number, like, where are you? And she said where she was from. And then he was like, oh, great, I'm going to be there next week. And then when he was actually there, he actually asked her, like...
Where are you?
Yeah, but then I think she said he had a picture of his family or something. Or
yeah.
Something about some sort of other person.
Yeah.
Something that I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but she'll send us the screenshots. Obviously, we had to check, first of all, that she felt safe, because that was the main thing. But she was cracking us up because she was like, what is this guy basically?
I feel like that's not her first time because it was with someone trying to reach out to her because she was just like, yeah, it's cool. Like,
she makes some really good relationships though.
Yeah.
And with us, for some reason, it tends to be more men booking with us. I think that's maybe just because it's like the business stuff. I don't know. It's really weird. Is that now I think about it, it's definitely more males that we come into contact with.
Yeah.
Because the contractor space maybe.
Yeah.
More male dominated, but yeah, there are some strange people trying to like contact her or ask her, if they can meet up. Like, she's not even from the UK. So what they think would be happening. It's like trying to get her details, or like she'll try and slip in that, like, oh, she's got a family, and they'll still be like, I don't know what they think is gonna happen. But do you know what's so funny? I know that she also enjoys the conversation. She also knows where the limit is, and like she knows that if at any point she gets worried or it gets extreme, that she'll just let us know. But it is quite funny that does happen.
I think in terms of like, obviously that comes with it, part of having a VA as well, because they're going to go off and have their own kind of relationships and connections. Do you know what I mean? So I think like that's no, sorry. No, but like
they build the relationships for us so that we have the reoccurring guests and clients that come back to work with us or staying at our property. And she's really, really good at that, because I feel like we actually should go back and do our percentages of how many returning guests that we have, because even one of the properties now, the one that's just checked out, he's probably stayed with us in a year. We've probably had him half the year. And he's now providing information to another lot who are staying a year.
They must be on like the same kind of project or something like that. Yeah,
they probably swapped out of projects or whatever. But again, that was all her doing, because of course the initial connection was through, I think it was booking.com. Was it actually?
Yeah.
Booking.com, whatever, we converted it. And then, but I initially started talking with him, but then passed him on to our VA. And we maintained that relationship. So, he's essentially stayed with us for about, it's probably maybe more than 6 months in a year, in over a 12-month period, sorry. But some wild things can happen as a virtual assistant. So if you're looking to get into that role, just be aware of that. But
I feel like the VAs as well, maintaining that relationship with people or connection with people, that's helped us quite a bit. In terms of like one of the 5 beds that we had, You know, we had already people in there, remember, and then the person who organizes the contractors placements and stuff like that, our VA forged that connection with them, and then we managed to get accommodate one of their other groups that were working.
So they stayed with us before Christmas 2024. I think it was like they joined us maybe November, and beginning of November, stayed till the end of December. They said, potentially might come back, but we didn't hear anything from the end of December to the beginning, middle of January. Middle of January, I think she checked in with them again and asked them if they still wanted the accommodation. Then they came back with us from February all the way into March, April. I think it was like April. So that was really positive. We had them stay for a very long time, but again, she was able to build that relationship. And often what we'll find is that because she's so good with her communication, they actually think that she's the person who owns the property, or because she's so aware of everything and knows how to entice them and like bring them in again an appropriate way. And we're not really helping the fact that we're not entice. We're not doing anything other than getting her to professionally
bring in clients. Even that sounds mad,
it's
isn't it?
It's not working anyway. But the matter of fact is, she's really good. And also, like, knowledge from, like, abroad, when we have guests who are staying from, like, other backgrounds, other countries, she's actually really good with identifying certain things that will be important for those guests. She's had previous experience of housing guests from, a certain country that this would be really helpful, or by the way, just to keep in mind that this is something that they might need. Like, she's really, really good with that. So, thinking out of the box.
No, 100%.
We have 2 VAs now, though. We're talking about one more because she's been with us over a year, but sadly just left. Literally like 2 weeks ago, middle of June.
Which is sadly like the reality of, again, one, running a business, and 2, obviously having VAs, because you're going to end up, it's sadly a revolving door. You're going to have people leave, people that you have to come in and train. And speaking about training VAs, I mean, it's not all what it's cracked up to be, I feel. Like, there's very good things that obviously having a VA can help you with in the business, but also the negative side of it, or the more tedious side of it. Sometimes it's like going through certain aspects of the mistakes that they may make, having a look at how to, sometimes you're so busy running a business that you haven't got time to train someone and train someone efficiently as well.
What's one thing that you think is a mistake that we've made when hiring, or something we haven't considered, or something that's been just not positive in what we've done when we were in the hiring process
that we've done? I think definitely,
especially at the very start,
not even understanding the process of certain tasks. So we would ask the VA to perform a certain task, but then
the language is not helping, not perform, but you said perform a certain task.
Carry out. We would ask them to carry out a certain task and just expect them to know exactly what to do, because we've done it and we just know exactly what to do. But then when they make mistakes, it's like, well, nobody told me. Do you know what I mean? So I think definitely that, and I feel that was one of the first things that me in particular, I realized that, this has to change. If we want to have more and more VAs, or get more VAs in the future, that is something that definitely has to change.
I agree. I'm going to piggyback back off that, because I liken it to like when I've started working, previous roles where I've been told that I've been thrown into the deep end, and like now I just have to get on with it and do what it do. When it comes down to, like with social work, all roles, as long as you've been in majority of the roles within a borough, you kind of know what you're doing borough to borough. But it's still different. You're gonna have different like values that they are governed by, different like thresholds, or like different ways of like working. And even though I know that I'm confident in the role specifically, I'm not confident in working for that specific borough, because I don't know how that borough operates. They always want to throw you in the deep end, and not really explain what you're supposed to do. So what ends up happening is, if any mistakes happen from myself, my response is always, well, no one taught me. I didn't know that this is your threshold because no one taught me, and I feel like that was exactly the same at the beginning when we were hiring a VA. No one actually told us the importance of understanding the task from beginning to end, because when you own a business, you automatically do things without realizing that actually that's your particular skill that you've honed in on to carry out whatever task you need to carry out. But when you're expecting somebody to be able to replicate that, they might have to hone into different skills because that might not come as naturally to them. The VA has right now that I couldn't do. I would have to perfect. I would have to perfect it. Whereas there are skills at the start that we needed her to do that wouldn't come naturally because she needed to perfect that. She does that like 10 times better than we do. But yeah, I feel like that's a really key one that people don't realize. Your team are as good as the leader. I mean?
And also I think it's very important because something that we kind of struggled with at the beginning was allowing them to make mistakes. Because allowing them to make mistakes lets them kind of be able to see, okay, I've done that wrong last time. I know what to do next time. But it's like, it's because we didn't want to let them make mistakes because of exactly. And because of that, we then would either not really trust them with that particular task, or we would micromanage. And micromanaging would then, no one likes a micromanager.
I've always, and again,
you know what I mean?
That's what for work has been. I know, like, I genuinely know what I'm competent, and where I'm not able to deliver, I will come to you, and you've got to trust that as the person who's led me, that you've led me so led me well enough that if I don't know what I'm doing or if I make a mistake, I will come to you first. That was quite hard for us to learn because we realised that every mistake that they made could cost us something big. Like, it cost us cancellations. It cost us, having to refund a guest. It cost us extra cleans. Or, damage the property because the Ring doorbells weren't being looked over or like managed properly. So we had to understand that as part of the transition of the business and having a virtual assistant. By the way, if we haven't said what a VA is, it's a virtual assistant. Sometimes
we just jump into it and don't even clarify what we're talking about.
But your VA wants to, they're going to make you costly mistakes. But that's a part of the transition, and you've got to be okay with that as you're scaling your team and you're working with your team. That there are going to be costly mistakes that are made, but you'd rather they make it early on than they continue to make it throughout the business, and that costs you X amount rather than the short amount that it might cost you, just to get them to understand like the importance of doing certain tasks.
On the flip side though, what would you say again, because sometimes when people are hiring VAs, that you've got two aspects. You either pay for a relatively cheap VA who you're going to have to train, you put your time into train and get them to learn the ropes, or you pay for one who's experienced and essentially should be able to hit the ground running and probably give you suggestions of how to run your business better than you. Do you see what I'm saying? So where do you sit with that in terms of what you should go through?
Do you know what it is? I feel like, and again, I can only liken this to work. When I was newly qualified, I was more eager to learn because I was eager to impress. Right? Because for me, the goal was to get into a specific role and position within social work that would get me to a certain level, essentially. So I was more eager. So for that reason, I would say hiring someone who has no experience, they usually will be eager to learn because they know they have more to prove, right? But then with an experienced worker, for example, me being an experienced social worker, I've done majority of the teams. I'm confident in the roles. I know the knowledge. I have the foundation. It does. Not that I don't let's be real. I won't put the same level of effort in because there's no longer anyone that I need to impress because I am confident in my skill. My knowledge. So the only people I technically have to impress is the people using the service. Not necessarily my managers, not necessarily my colleagues, because I'm confident. If you don't like my style of working, I can go somewhere else and provide that style of working. So that's the kind of, there's a pro and con on each side. It's like like someone new or not unexperienced or doesn't have that level of experience that you're looking for will have the eagerness, but you have to understand a lot of effort will need to go into the training to get them to the standard of somebody experienced. Whereas if you have someone experienced, it's kind of less training, if you'd like to put it that way. More tailored and specified training because they've got the overall ingredients. You just need to get them to mix the ingredients
Yeah.
the cake or whatever.
Yeah.
But a part of that, I feel like, is because they're experienced, they can get lazy.
Yeah. They know certain things, exactly. They think that because they know how things go and maybe they've done quite well in certain things, that they can kind of know where to kind of take the piss a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that you also have to look out for as well, because knowing where the work ethics are different. VAs tend to be abroad. You can get UK based VAs as well, but they obviously cost a lot more. But again, like the work ethic's different. There's certain what do you call it? Like there's certain patterns that you might see over and over again, which you probably have to learn to be able to deal with. And what I mean by that is kind of like, because of the difference in time zones, language barrier, things like that, sometimes you might find that depending on what kind of hours or what kind of contract you've got a VA on, sometimes you might find that they're missing or they're not working as hard as you really want them to.
Do you give me permission?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Just a disclaimer. Every situation or scenario that majority of situations that we talk about, love the people we're talking about. Right? But we have to be honest and genuine in terms of the situations that we experience. So we've got a relatively new VA. She's settled in so great. She's exactly what we're looking for in terms of the team. And there's a lot of room there for growth and development, right? But she's got essentially the foundation. She's got all the ingredients that we would need to make the perfect cake, right?
Yeah.
But because of the time difference, although we're quite clear in our interviews, we're very clear about the hours and expectations and making sure that people are in a space that we're hiring, that are able to do what what would essentially be for them a night shift, right? They're going from a late afternoon, which for us is morning, to late, like early hours of the morning.
Like 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, 2 in the morning. No more than that. We don't ask for any more than that. Although that's still quite a long time. But that's essentially a night shift, right?
Yeah.
So we're very clear that you will be on a night shift. Are you okay with that? It's in an interview you'll say yes until the reality slaps you of having to do it, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that I kind of struggle with our VA at the moment is that after a certain hour, which I would say is around 5 o'clock in the evening, she goes missing.
Yeah.
She don't finish till 6:30. I'm paying you till 6:30.
Yeah.
You gotta finish at 6:30. You can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like another thing that I really, really struggle with, I'm moving into the slight negatives before we get to the pros.
No, yeah, do your thing.
You have to have a break, like more than one, because you're actually working. Although to us it's an 8-hour shift, to them it's an 8-hour shift from an awkward hour, late afternoon into an early morning, right?
Yeah.
So please take your breaks, but communicate that you're going.
Yeah, but this is something that you've voiced before.
15,000.
Because I was going to say to you, like, when these things... Private joke. Yeah. I was going to say, like, how, like, obviously you voiced that, she goes missing, and most people will probably be like, okay, so how have you dealt with that? And you've spoken to her about this many times. In fact, not even just her, them many times. But for some reason, and this is what I'm talking about, certain work ethics and certain patterns that you might see that maybe is usual for people from that country.
Yeah.
But they just don't say anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like just that want of independence or that. I don't think it's a thing of like, I'm not going to...
I don't actually think it's based on the fact that, well, we never know, because, you're learning culturally the difference between working with someone in the UK. Like expectations in the UK workplaces will probably be different to work expectations abroad. Anywhere you go. There's some places that don't even work on a Friday. Because they expect that to be like a long weekend where you rest. Like, there's going to be different expectations of work and what work-life balance looks like.
Yeah.
But the thing for me is just like, if we're paying you, you gotta
be there.
You gotta work. And if you don't want to work that day, you gotta tell me. Like, it's not even that deep of like, oh, you're gonna ask me to take the day off and I'm gonna say no. Like, they get a weekend day off. The quiet days, they're not really bothered. Like, for example, our most quiet days are like a a Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes a Thursday. So throughout those days, they're not really doing much except for like the morning, maybe a couple of hours, and then the evening, maybe a couple of hours when, you know, guests might be asking a certain question, but it's not long at all. So their most busy days are a Monday and a Friday. But yeah, I just feel like, please say. Also, I know this is going to be a bit cheeky to say, but I've got to say it so that you guys understand what it sometimes can feel like. Sean's looking at me like, what are you about?
I'm just thinking, where is she going?
Yeah.
Where is she going?
Some of the excuses that are given.
Yeah.
And I need to understand it. And anyone from the Philippines, please let me know, because I may have got this wrong and I don't want everybody to shoot me in the comments. But what is this thing about we pay our VAs at the end of the month, right? This is every VA we've worked with, whether that's been around social media, whether that's been around like admin, whatever we've done when working with them, whether that's been about building a website, and they're from the Philippines, right? There has always been something about, even though we tell them the day of payment and the day of payment remains the same every single month, they will tell us somebody is in hospital and we must pay early. Is this a normal thing? Like every single, I will, if anyone wants to ask for the evidence, I will pull it up. Every single virtual assistant we've
had situations,
in every single section of our business has told us that somebody has ended up in the hospital and we must pay for their hospital bills like straight away.
Otherwise,
to be paid early.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that it always happens close to the pay date. So it always happens. Say they get paid on the 30th of every month, they will tell us this on the 25th, and it's like, but you literally get paid in 5 days.
So like, what's happened so much that you need the payment right now and can't wait that extra 5 days?
And the thing is, we've done it in the past. We've paid in the past, right? We've been like, oh, like we feel really bad, let's pay. But now I'm getting to a place where I'm like, I'm not sure this is real. Like, so much so, that two of our VAs, I absolutely adore them. One of them's left, but when she left, the same day is the same payment day. I'm not going to pay you early because you've left. Because if you were at like, if you were in a work
business or company,
you'll be paid on the day that you leave, or the day that you would usually pay, even though you left.
Yeah. You get your final payday, innit?
You get your final payday, right? So the final payday was going to be the final payday as agreed. But not only did she ask for payment early, the other VA asked for payment early.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I missing something? And both for the same reasons.
Yeah.
We're in hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it may sound really insensitive, but until you have experienced it, where I'm like, it can't be a coincidence. Every single social media VA, our website VA, our admin VAs, all three that we've had.
Yeah. They've all, the thing is, I just don't get and it's always the same thing. It's just always the same thing. A family member has been hospitalized, and to the point where it's almost like it guilt trips you, because if you don't do it, then you think to yourself, am I a bad person? Because this person might actually need this. Yeah, exactly. But then you have to start thinking to yourself, what would they have done if I weren't here?
Yeah, exactly.
What would happen if I wasn't here? Like, and again, like, we don't need to be the ones who are coming out of course, anyone that we're working with, we always want to be able to help them out in any way that we can, right? But people need to understand that when they're asking for us to do things that are outside of the way that we do things for our business, they're not just asking things from us, they're asking it from the business. So if you're asking us to pay early, you're asking us to then kind of mash up our financial structure in order just to help you. And you're not understanding that from their side, they might think, oh, it's just a payment 5 days early. But how do you know that we're not waiting on certain income from something else in order that we've set up to pay you? Do you know what I mean?
You've got to think about how payments come out for service accommodation. Booking.com don't pay till the end of your stay. So if you have a month booking, you're not getting paid until the next month. If you've got somebody who stayed 14 days, you're not getting paid till the end of the 14 days. Obviously Airbnb is different, and it's like the day after check-in they pay you. But what if you then have a cancellation mid-booking? You have to then refund, send money back.
Exactly.
All those things are important. That's why we always pay things at the end of the month, so that we've got our profits. We understand what we can break down and what we can move into. That's how we usually work it. But exactly what you said, it's like a little bit. It's not even a dig. It's more for us. It's something that we will never do again, which is pay early, because it does impact other things. And it's like, what if everybody else starts asking to be paid early?
Yeah.
What if we start paying ourselves early? Aren't able to pay you guys? Then what happens then?
And then what happens as well is that what you have to kind of look at is if they ask to be paid early a few times, it then starts to become that you actually paying them early constantly, and then that means that you're now in the habit of paying them like a month early. You've paid them now twice in 1 month. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's the kind of things that you have to keep on top of, like when you are managing other people as well. But yeah, like again, that's just part and parcel of managing other people in your business. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody else experiences that for VAs, all around the world. If you're working with VAs in the US, if you're working with VAs like from Nigeria, if you're working for there's so many different places you can
from Asia.
There's so many different places, and it'll be interesting to know what people's experiences of working with a virtual assistant who's not based in the UK, what that's like for your business and what that's like for you in terms of managing that. But one thing I will say though, which is a really a big green flag for me when we're interviewing and hiring, is somebody who has foundation knowledge. So with our initial VA that's been with us a long time and just left, one thing that attracted us to working with her is that she had already foundation around property, although it wasn't service accommodation. She had real experience with HMOs, houses of multiple occupation.
I always
I think it's both.
Is it both? Like, is it one of them ones that it's just like either or, isn't it? Occupation or occupancy. But she had that experience and knowledge, and although it wasn't the actual knowledge that we needed, it actually benefited us in the long run, because she was telling us stuff when we started to set up our HMOs with things like how to reference, how to get documentation, get the right references, check, tenants, telling us what to do with deposits and schemes that we had to use. She was actually really knowledgeable around that. It gave us the foundation to build around service accommodation. And she was, as you said, like she was eager to kind of learn that extra bit with the short-term accommodation, because that then was kind of like a extra notch on her belt. You know what I mean? That she can then take somewhere else. So I feel like obviously we probably haven't mentioned about what our VAs do, and your VAs can kind of do anything in your business, anything that's kind of just time consuming. So our VAs, they handle so they handle like guest communications, bookkeeping, say admin, in terms of like just all the little things that
emails
emails to clients,
council emails, emails to tenants and updates to tenants,
all of that.
Sometimes like guest information, like ID work, getting security deposits. They do all the bits of communication and admin with any clients or guests that we have. Again, with the bookkeeping, what we mean by that is like the numbers with the investors. So when we're working on management contracts with investors that we're working with, input all the data for us so that the investor can also see it and it's live for them to see, question, comment on. They also like put in the bills, and then we'll change it because they don't have access to our account, so we'll change what's been reflected on our actual bank accounts. They do so much. They
could do whatever.
They create QR codes for us. They change the listing. Like and don't get it twisted. Don't now think because they do all of that we don't know what we're doing. In order for them to learn what they're doing right now, we had to teach them.
And then on top of that, you have to kind of keep on top of what they know and how they're doing things as well.
And refresh things, change things. So sometimes things are no longer working. But even still, the other day, one of the VAs, the newer VA, was trying to convert a booking. And what was interesting is that the VA who had been with us for a long time was like, to try it this way. And even though we had given her direction, the VA had another, and that's what you've got to understand, is like, you are not the best thing in your business.
100%.
Like somebody else might know a little bit more than you know, and that's absolutely fine. Doesn't mean you don't know your business, doesn't mean you're not an expert in your business, but it allows your team to grow and actually add value to your business, because they've explored things that you've not been able to or had the time to explore.
It's called like basically dropping the ego, isn't it? Dropping the ego and allowing them to kind of just, allowing them to shine in the area that they're actually better than you at. It's still your company, that's fine, do you know what I mean? But allow them to let them spread their wings. So
if you're hiring a virtual assistant, first of all, the main place is to kind of find a virtual assistant to help you scale your business and manage your business effectively so that it gives you back time and buys you back time. It's places like
OnlinePH, OnlineJobs.ph.
That's it.
It's almost like a
hub
for Filipino VAs.
Yeah.
You've got Upwork as well.
Quite good. That's a new favorite.
Yeah.
You've obviously got Fiverr.
People per hour.
I don't know if they've got full quality, but we really do like OnlineJobs.ph is good. You have a lot to sort through. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So when you're doing interviews, please be thorough with your interviews. And don't just take yes, I can do that. Like, I show proof in the work. How long have they worked with someone? Get references. That's really important. But Upwork has been our best one so far in terms of quality. Although our first VA who stayed with us the longest was from Online Jobs. So that's number one, making sure that you find the websites and sort through the VAs. Number two is making sure as you're getting to the process or transitioning into adding people to your team like virtual assistants, making sure that you record everything. You can record things by using Loom, Scribe.
I think that's all. I think those are all the things that you need. Really, I think people complicate things a lot. One thing, that I even was a light bulb moment for me is that, again, where I work is like more. I work for one of the most iconic businesses or companies in London, and for me, I just thought to myself, like, I've worked there since I was 18, 2011, and I thought to myself, there's so many different jobs, and all I've ever known is how to do my job. However, I never thought about how my job entangles with other jobs and how, as a massive machine, it goes together to make things work. And I thought to myself, but I know what happens if I do things wrong, and I know that there's rules and regulations and procedures to do things, but I used to think, but how and why are things like that? But then when I've looked through that, and I thought to myself, that's actually a blueprint for how we should run our business. So like a rule book or a handbook, having them to it sounds basic, but it's like writing down literally everything, so that this is literally a master book. Whenever I ask how to do a job, or someone asks how to do a job, it's always go to.
Oh, you got Sean excited.
No.
Sean's having, this is Sean's like.
No, this is my thing though, isn't it? This is my thing.
Creating the SOPs.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to do like a little segment on it, because I think you really enjoy piecing together a blueprint essentially for how you could, because it won't just impact this business, it'll impact if we then decide to go into other business ventures, how to create something that another person can replicate. So essentially making sure that you also record, note down, formalize.
I could honestly do a whole episode on it,
Who's trying to wrap up, but Sean.
Sorry, let's wrap up. But let me know if you want that, man.
Live on it and maybe get some more information out there.
Yeah.
That's the second thing that you want to do. So the first thing is obviously finding the VA online on those websites that we mentioned. Second thing is making sure that you're recording all the important things that you do, even if you don't think it's important. If it takes time out of your day, record it, and just have it sat somewhere in a folder, and make sure that you know exactly what that recording is for, or the how-tos on how to run your business without you being involved. Right? And the third thing to remember is that your systems will reflect the leader. So if you have a disorganized system and you bring in a virtual assistant, understand the virtual assistant will also bring disorganization. They will not organize what's already messy. You have to have a system that is already organized. They're just cleaning up. It's almost like you've done the hoovering, you've mopped the floors, you've wiped down the windows, but now you just need to plug in the nice smells to make sure that everything comes together. The whole place looks good. You just need to plump the pillows and the cushions to make everything look as neat as it needs to be. So that's where your VAs come in, but the groundwork has to be done. So those 3 steps, again, if you want some more information, you always know where we are.
I might actually do this as a mastermind for our academy. I might actually do that.
We've got a Skool community, guys, and which we'll put in.
We'll plug in, in the description.
There we go. That's what the people them say in there.
We'll plug that.
But join that, because there's lots of information. We just put some information about our accountants. We'll put some information about how-to guides if you're already in the systemized bit of your business, where you're trying to systemize things and make sure things, become like easygoing, fluid, I guess, then this is what you need. So yeah, we'll drop a little bit more information about that, but I hope that helped. And if you have any VA interesting stories that you've got, please drop them in the comments, because we'd love to hear and make sure that it's not just us. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace. Thank you for watching to the end, guys. We really appreciate it. As a little thank you gift to you, we'd like to give you an invite to join our free WhatsApp community where we drop a lot of gems.
If you're still watching, then thank you so much. But more importantly, if you could like and subscribe to this channel to help us bring you more content that we know you'll just love.